My oldest son would have gone to Gainesville school if he had graduated from an accredited high school. But where he graduated from wasn't accredited when he graduated, so he couldn't go. He had an all-paid scholarship there, and he couldn't go because of that one little thing.
Which high school was this?
Howard Academy.
Howard Academy?
Yeah, here in town.
We're good to go? All right, so today is October 9th. It's a Sunday. We're in Monticello, Florida, the home of Miss Lilla Mitchell. And I am Sebastiano Cocco with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program. And I am also here with
Angelica McGee.
And Donovan Carter.
All right, ma'am. So just to start with, we usually ask folks from their background, usually more or less where they were born, where they grew up and such. And so if you just like to introduce yourself, say, your name, you were telling us earlier where you grew up, where you were born isn't Monticello, right? You're born in the country. And so if you would like to just start off by speaking about that.
My name is Lilla Mitchell. My maiden name is Little Rain Mitchell. I was born in Jefferson County, 12 miles out northeast of Monticello. That's where I grew up at, in the Deals community. I was born April 21st, 1928. My mother was named Idella Sneed. My daddy's name was Abraham Rain. It was my foster parent.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the Deals community. I went to Elizabeth Junior High School out in the community. I graduated from there. And I couldn't go to high school because we didn't have no convenient way to come from the country to town to school. They had the high school up here. But the black people did not have buses. The whites had buses, but the black didn't have buses. So I couldn't come because I couldn't stay up here. And that's why I was late getting my high school diploma.
How many siblings did you have? How many siblings did you have?
How many children?
Siblings.
Oh, 11 of them beside myself got grown, but we didn't grow up together. My mama gave her older children away. I had different. I was raised up with my two oldest brothers, and she let different ones kept her.
What did your foster parents do for work?
My daddy was a blacksmith. My mama was a housekeeper. She stayed there.
Wow, and so you said, high school especially was so out of the way, but I wonder, how were the early years, I guess, I don't know if there was such thing as kindergarten, but at least elementary school and such, how did that work?
It was junior high school because it taught 1st through 9th grade.
Oh,
The only school in the county had 3 rooms. It's still, the building is still out there now because my church is across the road from it. My church school is the same name.
whoa.
How old were you when you got married?
17,
17. And what did your husband do for a living?
farm.
And what did he farm?
Farm work.
What did he farm? What kind of crops?
Oh, cotton, corn, peanuts,
And what did you do?
work in the farm.
Work with him? How many children did you have?
All my life I had 8,
You had 8. How many girls? How many boys?
4 of each.
4 of each. Wow. What kind of jobs do they have?
All of them retired now. All my children retired. But, let me see, the one just left, she was a nurse. The one next to her, farm. The one next to her, she worked in the medical field, but I don't know her.
Specific thing.
I don't know her title.
Yeah.
But she worked in the medical field till I remember. And the other one worked for the state, Secretary of State. That was Thoniana. She was here yesterday. And my baby worked for the state. My boys, my oldest son was a cook. The next one was a Marine. He went Marines out of high school. And he fought in the Vietnamese War. He got shot in the head. But he still lives.
Oh my gosh.
Still living now.
Wow.
They ain't put his plates in yet. And that's the second. My third one went in the army out of high school. And he died after 15 and a half or 16 years in service in the army. But it wasn't wartime with him. He didn't fight in the war, but he got to be a E7 rank.
What about your grandchildren?
Oh, Lord. About 13, I think.
Wow.
And don't ask me the name because I
That's
don't
okay.
know.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
What is your husband's name? What was your husband's name?
My husband's name, capital A, small D, Mitchell.
Okay. Where is he from?
He was from out in the Dills community.
How did you meet?
His mama was my uncle's wife's sister. And visiting there. He grew up probably in Dills community, but at that time when we met, he was staying over the river, that we call it, on the other side, east of Sneed Smokehouse. We call that over the river. And his mama didn't let him go to school. He had to work, do whatever he could do from a child up. And I taught him how to read a little bit and how to write.
Wow.
And that's how we got to know each other.
Wow. So are any of these pictures here of your children?
With the woman and the boy with the white on,
Mm-hmm.
that's me and my third child. Well, I'm between them my 2 oldest ones that I'm between.
Yeah.
And that's them over there. The one with the service uniform, that's my baby boy.
Mm.
Over yonder, where the one got on the red holding the baby, that's my second daughter. The one by herself, and the small picture, that's my baby. That's about all my children. No, grandbabies. This is me and my whole set of 8 children right there.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
right there, this bottom, that middle picture beside that is my oldest son. The one on, the oldest son got the fro. The one sitting on the left side of him is his daddy. And the one sitting on the right side of him is his grandma, his daddy's mama.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh,
So, Deer isn't very far from here in the Deer community, like you said. What what was life like growing up? What did your day-to-day look like?
it was a farming community. They all farmed, except my dad and his brother, they were blacksmiths. They fixed up things, you know. But I enjoyed life out there in the country, such as it was.
Yeah.
What'd you do for fun?
I had a girlfriend that she would come down to my house, I would go to her house. We stayed close, about like from here to the road apart. And we were together most of the time. But during our school went from the day after Labor Day until June the 30th. July, August, September, June, July, and August, we was out of school. That's when you do a lot of work on the farm, such as hoeing and weeding and harvesting and different things. And my girlfriend, her mama, had some more children. I think she had 4 or 5 children, and she had to work. And I'd go in the field with her, and that's how I learned how to do a lot of things that I knew how, because I didn't have to, but I'd go ask my mama, and she'd let me go in the field with her. And when I got married and we started farming, it wasn't no problem to me because I already knew how to do it.
How did you start working at FAMU? Didn't you work for the food, what is it, the food division at FAMU?
Did I work there? Yeah, 9 years in the kitchen.
What kind of
in the
stuff would
dining
you?
hall, how to cook. They hired me as a kitchen aide. And after I got my certificate in commercial cooking, I took up trade there. And I got certified. I'm a certified commercial cook. After I got my certificate, they stayed 2 of the cooks retired. They was old and retired. And they placed me as a cook then just before they got rid of the place, before the state turned loose the dining hall. I was there when the state turned it loose and leased it. Because I worked with the first person leased that building after the state turned it loose, the dining hall. And I worked there 9 years. That's where I was working when I had an accident and so I couldn't work. Then because I had a car accident and tore up my son's car. Didn't break a bone in me, but the shattered and messed him up and ransacked me pretty good. I can't pick up a 10-pound bag of sugar now. So after I couldn't do that, I know I couldn't do it because I was a meat cook. and I had to cook meat enough for 20,000 people serving.
God.
2 meals a day, lunch and dinner.
So how did you start cooking? Did you?
Oh, Lord, at home. At 9 years old, we built a new house and moved out the bottom. We called it up on the hill. And my daddy put a new stove in the kitchen and told me I was 9 years old in 1937. Told me that I was responsible for whatever be cooked on that stove. And I started cooking for the family at home.
Yeah.
And by me, I always liked to read. I would read and get recipes and try them out at home on my own and things.
Yeah.
And that's how I got a lot. And then after I got grown and I had my children, my husband walked off and left me with them. And I had to look out for my children. So I done whatever come handy, from housework to field work. I even drove a tractor. And worked out the nursery to the schools, wherever I could make $100 to keep some meat for my children. That's what I did.
When you had your children, did you go to a hospital or did they come to the house with a midwife?
My children,
Yes. Midwives?
yeah, I
Could-
had all my children at home.
Could you tell us about the process, what that was like?
But the first one, it was rough because I didn't know that after his first child was born, I didn't have much problem with the rest of them because I learned from that. And I could have gone to any hospital I wanted to go to because my husband was a veteran, a disabled veteran. But I didn't choose. I chose myself to stay home and have my baby. I just tended the doctors before it was born to see if things go pretty good or right in plain words. So I was lucky I had them all at home. The doctors tell me they don't know how I did it because I got a crooked spine. My spine is just about an inch out of line down by my tailbone. A bone specialist made a picture and showed it to me. He said, you don't see how I did it.
Why did you decide to not go to the hospital?
I just always wanted to have my children natural birth so I knew what happened.
So I want to kind of circle back to your cooking. What are some of your favorite things to make, to cook?
Just about anything.
Yeah. Do you remember the first thing you learned how to cook?
Egg,
Eggs. Yeah.
bacon, flapjacks, and biscuits. I learned how to make a biscuit when I was 9 years old. My brother was going to A&M, and he was a cook to a Dixie Hotel, and he taught me how to make a biscuit when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, because I believe you said that so it was your foster mother who worked in homes, correct?
Yeah, she stayed home.
She stayed home. Okay, so 9 years old. I also really like to cook, and funny thing, the first thing I learned was eggs too, but I burned them. Not bad, but so I was wondering, how does a child, like you were told obviously, and you were carrying on, but did you have anyone specific by your side, or were you
Mother,
your
my
mother?
foster mother,
Mm-hmm.
she taught me.
Wow. And wow, and so all those years, How was it like from being a child into like did you cook like because most of your life too up until the point that you became the commercial cook at FAMU?
No, I done different things. So like I told you, I worked in some white people houses, cleaning for them. And I worked on the nursery. I worked to the school as a maid there, doing different things around the school. I worked in the school lunchroom. Uh, you name it. And I done a little bit of it, because I went to Madison from Monticello in 49, 50, in 50. And I stayed down there 2 years, and after my daddy died, I moved back to Monticello, but I didn't go back out in the country. I stayed in town, and I worked. I first stayed in Shepherd Quarter across town, and I done housework for different ones. And when the track come, during the track season, when they first put up out here, they had 3 months. Run 3 months, I started working to the track on them 3 months. And I worked there until 80, I believe it was 85 or 86. That's when I was going to night school to get my high school diploma. And while I was going to night school, working on my high school diploma, the veteran offered to go to FAM and get my professional. And that's when I went to FAM in the daytime, went to high school at night. And I finished the FAM before I finished the high school. So I got my certificate from FAM before I got my high school diploma. And I got that along with my 5th child. She graduated that year. And I did too, but she marched. I didn't. I wasn't particular about marching. I just wanted that certificate, and that's what I got.
Do you remember what year that was? Or how old you were?
I believe it was in '80. Let me see. Reese was born in '53. And she finished high school in 80. I don't know, 87, I'm not sure. I can count it, but I have to take time to count it, because she finished long and I finished long with her.
Excuse me, man. You said how old was she when she graduated high school?
How old she was?
Yeah.
I don't know, but she didn't repeat.
Okay.
She finished on time. She was born in '53.
Anyways, well, we can come back to that. Are there any? I mean, you said, and we heard you speak yesterday. You live and cook sweet potato pie, even though you won't eat it. So you can cook, I imagine, more than most people. But are there any favorite recipes of yours, or things that people really like to talk to you about? I was hearing yesterday about some tea cakes or the barbecue. Is there anything about that you like to say?
I learned how to do all of that. And I really learned how to do grill cooking in my trade. Grill cooking meat in my trade, I learned that. But if I get a recipe, I can do anything. You know, there's so many things called being coming up in the country, you got so much to work with out there. You got fruits, different kinds, and we had to treat it our own. So we raised our own fruit, didn't have to buy it. And chickens, hogs, cows, milk. I had milk and butter and things. I milked the cow and all this. So there's a lot of things you can learn to do if you try. And like I say, I like to read. I still read. I like to read in this.
Oh, yeah.
I used to do the crosswords, but after I started getting older, my brains got weaker, I reckon. I'm impatient. And I started doing the final circle. And other book, but I still read. I like to read. And the first thing when I wake up in the morning, I read my Bible, scripture. Then after that, I take medication now. And I eat about 10:30. I don't like to eat early in the morning. I can't eat early. In the morning, I eat about 10:30. And now I don't have nothing to do because they don't allow me in the kitchen. I got a new stove and everything in there. I think I look in the refrigerator and count the times I looked in there. And they turn the stove on now time. But they ask me sometimes about how to fix things, and I tell them how. Or if I let them cook something for me, I tell them how I want mine. How I want it myself. But I can do the most common things, cook the most common things, like pies, puddings, soups, barbecue, baked, roasted, whatever. I just ain't so good at the cake making. I can do it, but I just never liked it. And the tea cake, well, that's common, something like biscuit almost.
Earlier, you told us about your fish that you have here, and how you caught it when you were 70 years old. What other, I guess, well, first, when did you learn how to fish? Who taught you how to fish?
My grandma,
Your grandmother.
she was a fisherman. She sold fish for a living.
Really? Out here in Jefferson County?
In the country, yeah. Yeah, she had access to a pond. She was staying on the family's place, the Fegleys, and they had a big fish pond. And they let her catch fish, and she would sell them to friends around them.
What was her name?
What was her name? Lilla Lane.
Lilla Lane.
I'm named from her. She's my grandmother, and I'm named after her. She was named Lilla Lane, I named Lilla Rain.
What's her last name?
Now,
No.
but my last name
Well,
now?
her last name, your grandmother's last name.
Lanees.
L-E. Okay.
Lane's
Lanees. Lane.
Yeah, just making sure we have it for the record.
Yeah, my granddaddy, that's my granddaddy's name. His name, George Lane. And he was a Blackfoot Indian,
Really?
he said. So that's all I know about him. Because he got shot, got killed when I was a child, young. About 7 or 8 years old, I reckon.
Did your family hunt as well? Yeah, you know, you said your grandmother fished. Did your father or brothers hunt as well? No?
No. If a rabbit or something come round the, close around the house, something they'd kill that, but they didn't do that. Not none of my people. I learned how to shoot a shotgun.
Yeah?
If you're in the country, you learn how to shoot a shotgun.
That's true. That's true.
This is a bit of a difficult question, ma'am. So, just whatever you want to share. But so part of what brought us here is the remembrance in Casabianca of the folks who were sold from Virginia and brought down here to Monticello. Given that the counties are named, you know, after Madison and Jefferson, is there anything that perhaps like growing up or like just in general now you've heard about the history of slavery in the area, of folks who were slaves and then emancipated? Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
What you talking about, a personal life or?
Yeah, like if any kind of family history, any kind of narratives around that people spoke about.
I don't quite understand what you're expecting.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's just yeah.
So in the community, maybe when you were growing up or now since people seem to be talking about it more, did you hear anything about like descendants from that slave trade trying to find their roots or talking about what it was like to have been put in that community? Like, have you heard anything about it, like between friends or family or anything like that? What do you know about it? If anything.
Well, back as I can remember is they used to meet among themselves and have different kinds of parties. I mean, like the people in the community. You know, one person killed a cow, would cut it up, because he didn't have no electricity or nothing. He'd cut them up, and by the time they distribute it among the community, it'd be gone, wouldn't be none to spoil. And they'd do hogs and things like that. And they'd farm from one to the other. But I mean, everybody was farming, I say, but my daddy and his brother, they were blacksmiths. And all the farm had people that were farming, they had mules and oxen and whatever. And they would go from field to field and help each other out.
Yeah.
And they act like they cared about each other.
Earlier you said your grandfather was a Blackfoot Indian?
That's what he said he was.
Do you know of any other Indian tribes or anything out here? No? Okay.
No, I don't know where they met, because they met for our bones, so naturally I don't know nothing about that. But I just know him. He was slim and tall, about 6'2", and he wasn't fat. He was just medium build, and he had straight hair, and he would wash his head every morning along with his face, and he had a little comb he put in his pocket, and he'd comb his hair and roll it up on his finger in the bag. But I thought the sun rose and set in him. He was so good to me. He'd come by in the Sunday morning, my foster parent house, and get me and take me to Sunday school. And he would stand me up on the table, and I'd lead the Sunday school class in Our Father prayer.
Wow.
I don't know how old I was when I learned them, because ever since I could remember anything, I remember saying my Our Father prayer. But he came every Sunday morning. That's what I do at Sunday school, lead the class over Our Father prayer.
So I'm wondering, right, in terms of, because blacksmith is one of those professions that you barely even hear about anymore. Was there anything they made that is also used in kitchens, or what kind of things did they do as blacksmith?
Your father and your uncle.
What kind of work they did?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Anything concerning metal or wood, like wagon wheels, because that's what was going in. Wasn't no cars. Very, very few cars. You was hauling the hog when you had, you had a car. And there were 2 telephones in the community. And no electricity at all. The ice man come along twice a week. You had an ice box, and you get a block of ice and put it in there, a whole block, big block, put in the top where it was made, you know. And that's how you kept your stuff. And now it's fun, but it wasn't then because it was real.
And something else that I wonder, you say you really like to read. Obviously, a lot of, at least in my culture, is like this. They don't really write down the recipes. They just kind of show you, and you just learn on the go. But was there anything that you could read about cooking, like growing up or in general? Anything passed on, perhaps?
I've run from the newspaper, a book, come to town once a month after I got up a teenager, and I'd buy magazine book to read. And I had Hit Parade. There was mailing them at that time. And that's how I learned how to dance.
Oh, my.
Because they had steps and showing the steps in the book how to dance. That's how I learned how to dance. But Uncle Thomas and them, he fix almost anything around the farm that you use out there, almost anything. Plows, they had certain ways to set the plows, and the plows were pulled by a mule, naturally. And whatever it was, just different shapes things, metal things you put on that handlebar thing, the handle frame, and do it. I don't know what it was because I didn't learn about farming. I learned how to hoe and weed and gather. I learned that, but the utensil, I wasn't interested. And I'd go by the shop every now and then and blow the bellows for 'em to heat up iron or something, and they be banging, but I don't know what they was working on or nothing like that. But I know my son had a little plow. I don't know if he still got it or not, that my uncle made before he died years ago, a whole heap of years ago, 'cause I had it. You know, plow, they call it. A small version of the real thing. Had a little metal thing on the foot, whatever sweep, whatever that is. But he had, I don't know if he still got it or not. I'm gonna ask him. When he come back over here, he got it.
What was it like raising children in that time, and is it different than you think it is now?
But what?
Raising children? How is it different now than it was back then?
Oh, much different. Because back then, when I come along, and a grown person was your parent, you was gonna listen at them what they said to you, and you was gonna mind what they said. If you done something ugly, you got your rump cut, and you wasn't gonna go back home and tell it because you got another one. But now, I can't look at your child hardly, because that child say, I hit you, then what it is, and it's gonna be a fight or war. No, you can't do it now. But that's how it was when I come along. All adults were your parents, and you were gonna listen at what they tell you.
Do you remember juke joints? Juke joints where people would dance and listen to music?
One right up the road up there.
What were they like?
Road up. You get out in the road there and look and almost see it.
Yeah.
Just on this side of the road up there, that was, oh, that come way down here. I was, was I married? I think I was married when that was built. That was called a wine shack. And it's one place across town, well, on the corner, they call it. They call that, oh yeah. You come on a Saturday night and some of them juke all night. That's what they call it, juke.
What kind of dances would you guys do?
Charleston,
Oh.
Trigger Toe. And
Whole lot of dancing.
A whole lot of dancing there.
Charleston, Trigger Toe, and let me see what else. There's another one. Jersey Bounce. Oh Lord, I can't think right now.
What kind of music?
Now, I call it now noise, because it don't make no kind of sense to me. Not now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that then is what happened. They had something called a Jersey Bounce. They had a song to go with all of it. It was fun.
Yeah. Was there so this would have been when you were maybe a teenager in the maybe the late 1930s, early 1940s. Do you remember, well, I guess Prohibition may have been over at that time, but was there still, I guess, I know in small country towns, there can be like moonshine at different places. Was there moonshine at these jooks often?
Child, please. You get that when you couldn't get nothing else, moonshine.
Yeah.
Anyway, 'cause you might walk down across them woods anyway and saw a steel set up.
Yeah. I understand. I have some people in Carolina who will make some.
I got some moonshine now. I've been had about 20 years.
That's probably the good stuff. You got the good stuff.
I bought it. And I was staying up to Sneak Quarter. I got to make some camphor. I bought the camphor gum. But believe it or not, I ain't been able to find a bottle with a plastic lid. Because that camphor eat a metal lid hole in it to make my camphor, and I still got it.
Still got it. That's good.
I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere around here, because this is the new house. They tore the old one down. But I know I had an old house. And I said, if I run across that camphor gum, I'm going to go ahead and make it.
I hope you do.
I don't know, I may be scared to open the bottle. But it looked like water. It did the last time I saw it. It looked just like water in there.
Oh, yeah. It's been sitting in there for a long time, that's for sure.
What kind of meals did you guys make, like, for family dinners and stuff?
What kind of what?
What kind of meals would you cook for family dinners?
Meal?
Yes, like Sunday breakfast, dinner, lunch, that kind of stuff.
Oh, in the morning time, you cook bacon, grits and eggs if you wanted it. 12 o'clock, you cook greens, bacon, ham, or shoulder, or chicken, fried chicken, or chicken polo, or black-eyed peas, green, string beans, you name it, vegetable. And you could have your choice in there.
Did you guys have a smokehouse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was the one smoked the meat.
Oh,
I had to keep the smoke going.
Yeah. What type of wood do you use?
Hickory wood.
Did you keep animals to slaughter?
Yeah, what?
Did you keep animals to slaughter, or would you purchase them?
We had chicken, and I raised 2 hogs every year and killed them and ate them. But we had chicken, and we had a chicken yard. They didn't run all out. Our chicken didn't run out, but most of the people didn't have a chicken yard. But we had a chicken yard divided into 2 parts, a cube on each end. And we change them from one side to the other and spray the cube for chickens. And on one end, when we move them, we spray the cube and plant oats at that farm. And they be on the other end. And when they get through that end, we change them again. And that's our chicken never run on the yard, but most of the people didn't have chicken yards.
Who would slaughter the pigs? Would you slaughter them too?
Well, what?
Would you slaughter the pigs as well, or would someone else prepare the meat to be cooked? When the pigs needed to be killed and like cut up and all of the,
yeah,
would you
kill
do that?
Them, skin them, clean them, gut them, cut them up, salt it down, let it stay down so long.
Oh.
Then take it up, wash it, put it hanging up on
The hook?
in the smokehouse they had some little stave sticks, something go across, and you take bell grass and put it to a certain place in there meat and hang it up.
You would do that?
No, my dad and them would do that. I just kept the fire from blazing up, and then I had smoke in there. I'd go in there, so I'd check the fire. If it blazing up, sprinkle a little water on it to put the blaze out.
Did you ever have a garden for fruits and vegetables and herbs?
Oh, Lord, yeah, I had a 4-acre garden when I was married, because I tended with the tractor.
What did you grow in your garden?
Lima beans, string beans, pole beans, butter beans, mustard, turnip, rutabaga, cabbage, beet, and that's about it. Corn,
Corn.
sweet corn. Because in the field was old field corn out in the big field. But I was planting a couple of those sweet corn to have to eat in my garden.
Earlier you said, excuse me, that you made grits a lot. Now, would you put sugar in your grits or salt?
Salt.
Salt, okay. See, I had to ask. So some people, some put sugar in the grits.
And back then we shucked our corn, grew the corn, put it in the crib one time. When time to grew it, we shucked it, shelled it off the cob, carried it to the mill and had it ground out there. And you had your grits ground there at the same place. You didn't go to the store and buy it.
Would you make cornbread too?
That's
Cornbread?
the only kind you know, dog. Flour was rare till once a week, so
So cornmeal more
biscuits, make biscuits on a Sunday, man.
All right. Well, we've talked about plenty. I think we've covered surely a lot of ground, but we also like to give time usually towards an interview to let you speak on something if you think that we haven't asked, or if there's anything about I mean, it could literally be anything. I know we've been talking about food a lot, but just in general, if there's anything that you would like to say, you would like people to hear.
Or for future generations that you would like to know, that you would like them to know? I know yesterday you mentioned that you want them to understand the importance of education.
Yeah, I encourage all young folks. Go to school where you can and while you can. Learn all you can, because you don't know where you're going to fall or what condition you're going to get in. And if you know a lot of things, you can kind of demand some of what you want. If you don't know but one thing, you can't demand anything. And it's nice to learn all you can while you can. Because y'all had it good. Y'all got it good now. I had to get up in the morning time, clean up the cow pen, milk the cow, strain the milk, take the cow to the pasture and turn her loose, come back to the house, cook breakfast, get my clothes on, get ready, and be to school by 8 o'clock. Now I had about the distance from here to the 90 to walk to school, though. That's my advantage. But that's what I had to do after I got to be a teenager, because we had a cow. I had milked the cow. But the cow was in the pen all night, so they have droppings. And I had to clean up the droppings, throw it over in the corner where the fertilizer is, because that's what they use it for. Then milk the cow. And I had fur to carry the cow from the house you see on the other side of 90, way up there, where the road in. I've had a little bit fun now. They carry the cow and turn her into pasture. And walk back to the house with a foot tub of water from the well, where I water to the church. Get that foot tub of water and bring it back with me to the house. Fix breakfast for us, the house. Get my clothes on, get ready, and be at school at 8 o'clock. And they told the teacher if I was late to pick me.
Earlier, you mentioned that the first thing you do when you wake up is read your scripture. Do you have a favorite verse, like a favorite Bible verse?
Bible verse every morning, yeah.
Do you have a favorite verse? Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Did I?
A favorite.
Do you have a favorite?
Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Bible or
Yes.
scripture?
Scripture.
Yeah.
What's your favorite scripture?
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And I believe that today. But everything I want, I ask the Lord for it. So far, He has given it to me.
Amen.
Because when my children was little and coming up, I prayed every day for the Lord to let me get my children out from under the foot of the people. I raised all 8 of my children up, school them, they're out on their own. I ain't never had to get down out of trouble. I ain't never been in trouble myself. And I think I done a pretty good job.
I think so too. I think so too. Well,
Anything else you would like to say before we end?
I got to go right now.
okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
But he went to Cookman. I sent him to Cookman.
That we should.
He went to Cookman school.
Yeah, well,
Out in Daytona.
you should put your seat over there.
He gone now. He
But then,
done left me.
I don't know then how that you got it, but you know what I'm saying.
My oldest son and my youngest one left me. I got the 2 middle ones right on. I didn't grow up out there.
Where?
I grew up in the Deers community. And my daughter just left. That was the one, her daddy was a stores from out there. I'm proud to see you young folks trying to do something worthwhile.
Thank you.
I'm always proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I caught that fish when I was 77 years old.
Yeah?
What fish?
That fish there?
That one.
Oh, yeah? Where did you catch it?
In a private pond
Wow.
out in the country.
Out here in Jefferson County?
It has our name on it.
They call it the Hampton Pond,
Yeah.
join the Razor Lake. I had been raised in the country, born out there and raised, but I never had caught a grown, what I call a grown big mouth trout. I caught smaller ones. And I promised myself, if I ever caught a grown one, I was going to have him stuffed. And I caught that one when I was 70 years old,
Oh my
Wow.
and I still had him stuffed,
That's good.
like I promised to do.
That's wonderful.